Let's hear from the coach. This is Behind the Beard with Bobby Smirniotis, Forge FC head coach and sporting director. Now, the woman who takes us there, here's Mackenzie Barwell on the Forge Audio Network.
Looks a little bit better than that ball down there.
Yeah, that's the one that you were talking about that your kids won't let you get rid of?
That's the one.
Can we actually get that in the frame for a second? It's behind you. You're right. It is ripping apart.
Oh, no, this ball is probably 15 years old.
Oh, my gosh. It's deteriorating in my hands.
It's the office ball.
Okay. It stays here. All right, everyone. Week 11. Week 15 of the CPL last week, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say you're about 4 weeks off.
Yeah. I really can't get it right with this intro. That's fine. Bobby, how are we doing? Good?
Doing good. It's a beautiful week. Excellent weather outside and
Yeah,
getting ready for our next one.
Okay. I feel like we're co-hosts now.
Sounds about right.
This doesn't feel like me talking to you. It's just more of a conversation, right?
It's the best way to do it.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on the 5-team playoff setup now? How do you think that will influence how the playoffs go, but also the remainder of the regular season?
Yeah, I think the expanded playoffs is a natural thing. You know, we've got an 8-team league. I think it's important to keep things interesting as long as possible. So each year of this league, this is year 5, we've had a different type of playoff format to crown the champion of the league. So this year, again, it's another unique scenario. And I think with every scenario, it's something that the league comes up with, which they think is the best, that they think is the best maybe for the fan engagement. And for us as teams, that's what you have to play with. And that's the most important thing. You know what you're playing with and what you need to get done, and you work to get there.
We'll shift gears a little bit, looking ahead to this Friday. You've got a matchup against Vancouver. In the past, you've had some difficulties with them, haven't been able to walk away with 3 points, most recently dominating the match. But like I said, not able to finish. What are some changes, or what are you expecting to see from them on Friday? Yeah,
from Vancouver, I think we're gonna see a little bit the same, especially coming in here to Tim Hortons Field. They're a very well organized team. They've shown that throughout the season. There's been a couple of anomalies in some scores that they've had, but if you look at this past weekend, they've gotten a red card in, I think it was the 5th minute of the game, and that obviously changes things dramatically, along with a penalty shot in that same play. They're a well-coached team, well-organized team, and I think that's what they're going to be coming here to Tim Hortons Field. They're going to try and make things difficult for us. We've been playing some good football as of late, and I think we just need to continue on that same path.
They haven't been able to get the results in their favor most recently, but also, they have 2 players on their exceptional youth talent roster now. So I think it was James Cameron and TJ. What do you think that will do for them as a team, having, those up-and-coming players, not only in the future, but as of now in the present?
Yeah, I think as a new club this year, they've built a roster and really with a lot of focus on some young players. You see that through all the minutes they've given to young players, and I think there's different ways of looking at it. And I think maybe they're building towards the future. They've had some changes to their roster recently, bringing in some experienced players from our league, with Cantave and Diaz, who's come back into the league from his time in Norway, along with another veteran player they've brought in from Brazil. So I think now you're seeing they're trying to mix a little bit of that youth component that they have with some more experienced players in the league. And there's still a lot of football to be played. The most important thing for us is you can't take anyone lightly. Vancouver's given us some of our toughest games this year, and this one is a very important one for us to keep climbing in the standings and try and keep ourselves near the top.
What was your initial reaction when you heard that those 2 roster spots were going to be added for youth?
Yeah, I thought it's an excellent initiative from the league. We have a roster cap of 23 players, and that can only be expanded by some younger guys using that for development spots. This is a little bit different because you're able to have the player in your squad full time. You're able to compensate the player with at least a minimum contract, and that gives a player a very good sense of being a pro. And I think if we can accelerate the development of players, especially those that are 16, 17 years old. We look at Kadeem Kane, who's come in with us as a 17-year-old, and if you just look at his growth from the first week of preseason to where he is now, it's been absolutely tremendous. And I think that gives us a great ability to develop some of these young players, and hopefully they're able to move on to other levels of the game in the future.
I was talking to Kwesi this morning about Kadeem, and he mentioned that on the pitch he feels like he's kind of a monster, but then off the pitch he's kind of like a gentle / younger brother. Do you feel like that's an accurate statement?
Yeah, he's off the pitch. He's a little kid. He really is that 17, 18-year-old. But on the pitch, he's all business. It's something different to see, and we love seeing it each and every day. And it's just not only his mentality and his work ethic, and what he brings. It's his technical ability, his skill, and then his attention to detail. He wants to become a better player each and every moment he's on the field. And when he's off the field, he's constantly watching video of him, whether it's in training or the minutes he's had in the games. But the rest of the time, he's a good laugh.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, the first time I saw him on the field, I was like, okay, this guy's going in. He's aggressive, focused, like you said. And then I went to introduce myself after, and he was like, hi. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's so nice.
And English is getting better week by week.
Yes, week by week. So one day we'll have him on the podcast, but I think it needs a little bit more time as of now. This Friday is our international theme night. So I want to switch gears and talk about that for a second, because we've got some local restaurants coming to provide some different cultural foods. So I have some themed questions for you. Okay?
Here we go.
And I'm not going to look, all right?
Okay.
All off the top of my head here. Okay, first things first, best international cuisine in your opinion. And you can't say Greek.
Italian. Just going next door.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Keeping it in the Mediterranean.
Best Greek dish that you grew up with, actually.
Best Greek dish. That's a tough one.
Okay.
There's a lot of good ones.
Let me interrupt you for a second, because I talked to Rama, asked him the same question this morning, and he told me to ask you because he couldn't think of the English word for this. It sounded like a lasagna thing.
Pasticcio.
Yes.
Pasticcio.
That.
I'll go to Pasticcio's cousin, which is moussaka.
Okay. Which is like, what does that look like?
That's layers of eggplant, potatoes, ground beef, and bechamel sauce.
Oh my gosh. Okay. You said your first or your second favorite, I guess, international cuisine was Italian. What are you eating? I'm going next week. Okay. What should I?
Any pasta dish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any pasta dish.
I'll come back and give you a review.
Yes. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic.
Okay. Farthest place you've ever traveled?
Furthest place I've ever traveled in the world.
In the whole world?
Ooh. Being through the Americas and in Europe, I guess the furthest east I've gone is to Istanbul in Turkey.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yep. Do you remember having, maybe there or another place, a moment of culture shock? Are there any memories that you have, like thinking, oh my gosh?
To be honest, in Istanbul, I was there, I think, for 48 hours. I was visiting Kyle Larin while he was playing at Besiktas. And, to be honest, it's a massive city. It's a lot of people. So that was one thing that impressed me. It's from the airport to his place. It was just, how big the place is. I think the population's over 20 million or so. And it's you can see it when you're traveling in it, that's for sure. But, it's a country in the Mediterranean, and Istanbul is there. So, to be honest, quite similar to Greece. Okay.
Back to international cuisine. Do you think that something spicy makes food better?
Spice or spicy?
Spicy. I should say spicy. Yeah. Like spicy. Something hot.
Yeah. It all depends.
Yeah.
Depends what you're having.
Okay.
Yeah. You're maybe spicing up some chicken. That's a good thing to do. Other stuff, you don't need the spice. You don't need the heat.
Are you good with heat?
Yeah, to a certain degree.
You don't sound very confident.
No, I'm not a big heat guy, but some things it's good.
Who on the team do you think would react poorly to spice?
Who react poorly to spice? Now, here's the thing. We have lunch every day up here, and from year number one, the one thing I learned is guys love their hot sauce and their sriracha, which I think are the same thing. Or
Honestly,
not.
I don't know the difference.
I've never seen that on a dinner table growing up, or even in my house, but I found it interesting that doesn't matter what the background of the players are, because we know our team is full of different. They love their hot sauce and sriracha. So. Okay,
so we can't point one out then?
No.
I will say I went to Taste of Lagos last week with Ali and Malik, and we did like a hot ones kind of interview. So we had some spicy chicken, and Ali's eyes were watering.
Yeah. It was beyond spicy.
Yeah. The nose was watering, everything. He was like, it's fine.
Malik was good?
Malik was fine.
Malik was good.
Because we were eating Nigerian food.
Yes.
And he, of course, is Nigerian, so he grew up with a lot of what we were eating. This afternoon, we are going to Denninger's
Okay.
with Dom and Noah. So
What's on the menu?
Undecided. I think we'll find out when we get there. It's going to be TBD. But both of those restaurants are coming to Tim Hortons Field, so you get a taste on Friday.
Fantastic.
All right. That's all for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll be back on... when will we be back?
That's a good question.
I have to
I may
go
be
to
sitting
Italy.
in this chair on my own next week. Some people have to travel across the world.
It's International Day on
There we
Friday,
go.
so it was only right for me to catch a flight to Italy.
Perfect.
Sorry.
This has been Behind the Beard with Mackenzie Barwell and Bobby Smyrniotis. If you like what you heard, please like, follow, subscribe, comment, and share.